President Van Jones, Esquire. Good to have you here.
Glad to be here.
And Policy Director Ian Kim. These two gentlemen are from the Ella Baker Center for Human Rights. What is the center?
Well, the Ella Baker Center for Human Rights is a solution center in some ways for some of the toughest urban problems that we know about. We're working on a variety of issues in Oakland, California, is where we're based. Violence prevention, police reform, alternatives to prison for young people, and also green job creation. So we really, if you think about any problem that an urban kid is going to have, from getting in trouble with violence or with the police or maybe getting sent to prison or needing a job, we're working on real solutions for that in Oakland, California.
How do you achieve those solutions, the goals, the aims of the program? What do you guys specifically do?
For instance, with our Books Not to Bars program, which is our alternatives to prison program for young people, you know, what we recognize is that, you know, we're spending in California, for instance, about $120,000 per year per kid behind bars. You could send 3 or 4 kids to Yale for the cost of sending 1 kid to jail. So our view is that we need to be finding alternatives. It turns out in places like Missouri, Florida, they're spending about $30,000 per year per kid, because rather than putting all these kids in these huge warehouses where they're being brutalized and abused, they put them in these smaller facilities, doors locked, secure. Looks like a dorm though.
Okay.
And the kids don't wear those orange uniforms, they wear just regular clothes. The adults don't wear the gray uniforms, they wear regular clothes. You're spending much less money, but 70% of those kids who go through a program like that don't get in trouble anymore. 90% of the kids who go through the expensive system, the brutal system, 90% wind up in the adult system anyway. So what we're saying is, rather than running $120,000 a year prep schools for adult prison, we should be running programs that actually help kids. And now we have some momentum in the state legislature to begin moving California in that direction. So that's the kind of thing we talk about, real solutions.
As I understand it, Ian, there's policy behind a lot of these as well, policy initiatives, is that correct?
Yeah, well, for the green jobs work we do, one of our 4 programs is called Reclaim the Future, and we really have seen an opportunity at City Hall in Oakland to work with policymakers and work with city staff to create real meaningful opportunities in what we would call green pathways out of poverty and into the new clean, environmentally sustainable economy. We've met with a lot of really exciting success and have forged some really powerful partnerships along the way as well.
I know, Van, you had alluded to the Books Not Bars. Listeners, for the Ella Baker Center, the programs fall into the justice, peace, and opportunity arena. And maybe, to the extent possible, you can talk a little bit about the results. Van, you had mentioned in Books Not Bars, Missouri seems to be doing it right, and if I'm understanding it correctly, there is some movement towards closing down the California Youth Authority.
First of all, it should be embarrassing to every Californian that, you know, John Ashcroft's state of Missouri is actually got a wiser, saner, better policy for young kids in trouble than California does. So that should be a wake-up call for everybody. We should be at least as humane as the red state of Missouri. And one of the things I think we've got to keep in mind is that when you tell people in California that our state is spending a dime out of every dollar on prisons, the state budget in California, a dime out of every dollar on prison, headed toward a dime and a nickel. We're spending more money on prisons than we are on all of our 4-year colleges and universities combined. Most Californians say, listen, this doesn't make any sense. What we're proud about with Books Not Bars is they've taken the parents of the kids who are behind bars, turned them into a political force by going out to those prisons, standing in the rain with those moms and those grandmas, asking them, how's your kid doing? How many more tattoos does your kid have this month than last month? Are they getting any better at all? Let's work together, let's make a difference. By creating that political force out of these parents, they're beginning to make a difference.
On your website, you mentioned the Bay Area Police Watch program. Still needed, huh?
Very much so. That was our first program. You know, in all of Northern California, we're the only state bar association licensed organization to provide legal referrals to people who feel their rights have been violated by the police. So rather than having to dial every, you know, attorney in the yellow pages when something happens and you feel your rights have been violated, maybe your child's rights have been violated, you can just call Bay Area Police Watch. Easy to find our number, and we try to help people. And you know, we think that we want you see a reduction in street violence and unlawful police violence. It really requires both sides
Yeah.
to go to a higher level of engagement and interaction. Unfortunately, sometimes it feels like the street violence and the police violence are chasing each other down,
Yeah.
as opposed to holding both our young people and our adult authority figures to a higher standard.
And I wanted to talk about Reclaim the Future, and you had mentioned the Green Job Corps program. And of course, I was out there on June 12th, in front of City Hall,
Yeah.
yelling and screaming right along
It's
with
great
you.
to see you there, yeah.
Yeah, and I really liked your comment that it's the best city, the best community is not the one with the most jails, the most prisons. That's not the safest. It's the one where you have the best jobs and best schools. What are your thoughts around Reclaiming the Future? Where is it going? And tell us some more about the Oakland Green Job Corps and that lovely success in front of City Hall. Well done.
Yeah, well, it is really exciting to see Oakland really put some money behind the vision for Green Jobs Corps, for job training for the local residents in Oakland who are too often locked out of the job market.
Mm-hmm.
And so in June, we saw City Council unanimously approve $250,000 as seed funding for a long-term program that can take people who have had trouble getting a job, or have maybe have been tied up with the criminal justice system but have gotten out or are looking for opportunity, and giving them the hand-holding and the skills and the training and the opportunity, just the chance to get into careers, and not minimum wage, poverty jobs, but real careers that people can raise families with, that provide dignified work.
So Reclaiming the Future is focused very much on finding, if I might say, a path out of the economic poverty that seems to be here in Oakland, and frankly, I think I see it in other parts of the Bay Area. Would that be a fair assessment of what the project is?
Oh yeah, Van, I think, really was one of the people to first identify this magical and really important intersection between addressing both poverty and pollution at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people have caught on to the idea, and we're finding that we see parallel work being done and opportunities to expand the green jobs idea all over the Bay Area, and not just in the Bay Area, but really all over the country. Van and I are getting calls every day from people who are just inspired by the notion, and it's really a common sense thing once you start to look at it.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody's asking, what does it take to start up a Green Jobs Corps where I live, for the people that I care about. So Van just talked recently, I think, with somebody in Texas working with green collar vets.
Yeah, veterans, yeah. They call themselves green collar vets, trying to get folks coming home from overseas to be able to get jobs, rebuilding in this country, and rebuilding it and rebooting it green. So.
That certainly makes sense. I mean, if you have an area of unemployment, why not focus these people into living wage jobs that are green?